Welcome to Season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Craigoff, the choice of champions.
Welcome back to another episode of Trap Talk from the Back Fence. I'm your host, Zach Nannini. I'm here with my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr. We are live in the main clubhouse at the Tucson Trap and Skeet Gun Club at the Autumn Grand 2024. We just got done class singles and class doubles, and we've got our good friend John Mullins here, another Team Craigoff shooter. So welcome to the show, John.
Thank you for having me.
John, Ricky, would you please introduce John?
Gotta get on the readers because John's an engineer.
Yeah, he's got the chicken scratch.
And he wrote
It's very small and delicate.
like he was 2.
I could read it with my eyes, but I mean...
Really? We're gonna go there. Here we go. So John started shooting ATA in 08, but PITA, which is Pacific International Trap Association, which is out of the Northwest mainly, or started out of the Northwest. Now it's, I think Colorado has PITA. It's
I think they've got one shoot a year. And
it's quite a bit. So John has won at the PITA Grand 3 doubles championships, 2 HOAs, 1 high all around, and the high all around was with a 396 at Evergreen, which I heard is a pretty monstrous.
It's a salty club.
Yeah. You shot there, Zach.
I shot there a bunch, and you know, just to give people the reference,
Zach didn't win any of those.
I won the handicap. I got a handicap there, but just to give people some reference, PITA, that association, West Coast, that's the Grand American for them. I mean, that's their big shoot, and so those are basically like ring titles in that association.
So at the Washington.
Long way away.
Yeah, long way away. Well, I can't. It was like an I or an A. So at the Washington PITA, you've won 2 singles, 1 handicap, 7 doubles, 4 HOAs, and 4 HAAs. That's pretty impressive. And then at the Washington ATA, 4 doubles and 2 HOAs, 10-time PITA All-Star.
Which is their All-American team.
All-American team, and a 2-time captain. Congratulations to that. You've been on the ATA All-American Open team. You've won 2 Grand American double events wins.
Yeah, in Grand Week.
In Grand Week, and you also have the PITA Grand Slam, right?
Yeah.
But he's also, folks, for everybody who doesn't know, he was a national team member for the
International
Trap, but at the Olympic Training Center.
Yep.
Okay, so you were 8-time U.S. national team member, but you were a 2-time national champion. Sorry, Jake, you were silver medalist. I still love you, Ice Pick. But you were also trap and double trap team member, correct?
Early on, yeah.
Early on.
And an alternate for the Olympics.
And the alternate for what year was your
08.
08.
That's awesome.
I quit shooting doubles when they came out with the 2005.
Yeah.
And that revolutionized that game.
Okay.
You watch the scores go 140-ish, now they're 147, 148s.
Yeah.
And just the scores.
Why do you think that is? Just the visibility?
With the low rib guns, you couldn't see the first target. But when you got that high rib gun, that height of that rib, you're there, and now you can see the target come out of the house.
I see.
So the spot shot on the first one just
went way up.
And the U.S. shooters pretty well dominated double trap in the Olympics.
Yeah, the Army marksmanship unit.
Oh yeah, Glenn Eller,
Jeff,
Josh.
Derek Halderman was in there.
Halderman. What about, did Alcariza shoot, David?
Earlier on.
He's old. Just saw him and Glenn Eller. And I saw Ryan Haddon.
Oh, you saw
last
Ryan?
week. Yep.
Nice.
Spent a little time with Ryan. Ryan and I have been friends, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, because I shot.
Oregon boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but it was, I remember being at the training center, in the early 90s, and then watching all that stuff progress. And the U.S. shooters, I mean, they were just dominating. And all the other foreign countries were like, what is going on here? But they just couldn't compete.
Well, a lot of our guys came from ATA and, PITA doubles. We'd been shooting doubles, and internationally in the world, they shoot trap.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden 2 targets are coming out. But here we are, a lot of us homegrown through ATA. We've shot 2 targets.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the international, because we've had a few shooters on for Olympic stuff. We've had Derek on.
Yep.
We had Jeff and who'd we have on?
Josh.
Yeah, sorry, Richmond.
It's later in the day.
Yeah, it's like
we had
been a long day.
targets.
200 targets. I
did talk for 4 hours,
but it's cool to see that a lot of people progress from shooting ATA into international. And that's what a lot of our, watchers, subscribers, listeners don't understand is you don't just have to jump into international, get your feet wet in ATA a little bit, and then progress. Because when I was a kid, my coach was Lloyd Woodhouse. Okay. And Lloyd liked the double shooters. If you could shoot double trap in the ATA, they wanted you to come out and shoot.
That's because he can stay in the gun
Stay in
and
the
shoot.
gun and then shoot. There was a lot of people that could shoot good singles.
Couldn't
They'd
stand
come
the
out
gun.
there and if they broke into the first shot, good, but they could never break a piece because they were always out of the gun.
Yeah.
Gotta stay in that gun. It's important.
Oh, absolutely.
It's important, especially you got a target that's moving, a target that's wide. I mean, out here in Tucson, they're a little bit wider than we're used to in the country right now.
Yeah,
what I'm seeing.
Zach did break 99 yesterday, and then he broke 100 today in the doubles, which I think there was two.
Two or three.
Was there 300s?
There might have been.
I saw
haven't-
two.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but they're just a
You
little
didn't
wider.
catch your money yet?
$200.
Team Nanini, he splits it with me and John.
We're going to McDonald's. We're going to McDonald's. We're getting Happy Meals.
I tried to keep up, but I went dead loss on the first pair on the second box.
I went dead lost on the first and the second box for a 98. Pair come out and went, woo, and I went, oh no. I did.
It happens.
It does. So how many years did you shoot bunker?
I shot bunker for 10 years. So I actually started shooting in 96. So we've got what's called the Puget Sound Continental League, which is a wobble trap league. It's 8 or 9 Sundays from January to March, and it emulates bunker.
Okay.
So my mom and dad shot that for years. I grew up watching my dad win the high overall because my dad was an accomplished shooter back home.
Yeah.
And going into that, it was like, that's what I learned to shoot. So it was like, you get in there and you shoot doubles. It's like, oh, I got to put 2 shells in the gun, boom, boom. And
I like 2
handicap,
shells.
we shot a lot of fun in games. So yeah, let's shoot that distance.
Yeah.
So for you, were you starting on an American trap target, or did you start right with the
I started with
international?
Wobble.
You started with
Continental,
Wobble.
yep.
So Continental and Wobble and International was your first, and which is more uncommon, right? Most people are ATA and then they flip over.
Well,
but
most places don't throw a wobble league.
No,
It's
they
very
don't.
rare to see that. I mean,
So that Wobble league, walk me through that. Is it an actual set of rules, like it's 2 shots, a certain speed target? Like what is it?
So it's, for the pat traps, we widen the magnets out as far as they'll go.
Okay.
And then it's 51 miles an hour. And then the low target's 4 foot at 10 yards. And then the high one is whatever we can get out of it.
I see. So it truly is on an oscillate wobble. It's just
Yeah.
oscillate
Yeah.
wobble as wide as it goes,
Yeah.
and
Trap
you
wobble.
get 2 shots.
You get 2 shots at it.
Okay.
And this year it's a 9-week league. And we take your best 8 out of 9.
And where's that at?
It is in Western Washington. We've got 9 different clubs across 10 weekends.
Oh, wow.
So we actually have a lot of clubs in the Puget Sound area. My home club is Bremerton Trap and Skeet and Gig Harbor Sportsman's Club. We'll go shoot at Evergreen, Sumner, Tacoma, Renton, Seattle Skeet and Trap, and Kenmore.
so what's your radius
And-
driving?
I think Kenmore for me is an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
And that's the farthest one.
Farthest one.
That's not bad.
No,
So,
it's
so
not.
is
That's
it
kind
is
of
it
a cool deal to
Yeah.
see that, and that's what really I'd like to see a lot of the clubs go back to doing stuff like I grew up
Yeah.
shooting leagues,
Yeah.
and the leagues have kind of fallen off for a lot of places. They still have them, but they're smaller and I think the clubs really need to bring that back. And
League
do some
shooting
fun
is
stuff.
important because it builds the
Absolutely.
foundation. And I like the idea of doing something that's harder than trap for the leagues because, if you say, okay, we're going to shoot a faster target or we're going to do a slider or we're going to do something, it gets people shooting targets that they're not used to.
Well,
I mean, we have a gateway league.
Yeah.
And based on how you shoot the week before, you get assigned yardage. So if you shoot really good short, you can be back at the 27. Now guys are shooting 27 for the first time, even though they're 19
Because
or
of
20
the
yard
league.
shooters.
And see, that's what clubs need to do. Like my home club's Lincoln Trap and Skeet, and I got a good buddy of mine, which Todd Walter. Todd and his son Chase. We shot with them, and they're sporting
Great
shooters.
people,
But
great people.
Chase shoots a lot of trap too because of his wife. But Todd runs kind of our sporting stuff, and a good friend John Sturts. They put together a night shooting deal. We do 5-stand leagues at night. We do cosmic stuff, and you ought to see it. They fill up.
Yeah.
And these are the things that people are like, oh, this is fun. And this is what clubs need to do. I don't care if you're shooting trap, skeet, sporting, whatever. five
You gotta
stand.
bring the shooters
Bring
in.
the
Yeah.
shooter in because
Yeah.
guess what? They'll figure out what they want to do, and hey, get them into shooting.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's our biggest accomplishment we'd like to see is just get new people into shooting.
I think that the ATA weekend shoots at the local clubs, they are dwindling a little bit because obviously due to financial reasons, people are saving their money. They're going to the spring ground. They're going to the autumn ground. They're going
The
to wherever.
big shoots.
The bigger shoots. They want to go where there's trophies and competitive
Yeah.
factor. So I think the clubs need to take a step back and say, okay, how can I keep it interesting if we're losing those ATA weekend shoots? And I think the bridge is going to be going back to leagues. I think the leagues, keeping people consistently involved and doing something fun and interesting and different is going to be entertaining. And
Yeah.
and you know, they do big dinners. I mean, we started, the first one I remember, I did the Metcalf's Field Sports Park. We did a Wednesday night trap league. And for me, that was at the time like the grand. I mean, it was like Wednesday, like the guy that won the 10-week league, you thought he was the greatest shooter in the whole world because you didn't know about Ricky Marshall or Leo Harrison. I mean,
Yep.
you're just in this little petri
Yeah.
of these, weekend shooters, and you're like, okay, who's gonna win?
It also feeds your state shoot. That's how we pay for the state shoot Wednesday night.
Yes.
league in
Oh,
Vegas.
And then we did a big old dinner at the end of the 10 weeks and did buckle
it's the
ceremony. It was-
camaraderie. It brings people together, and you get some new shooters, and they can interact with people like us that maybe been doing it a while. That's why I try to go. I mean, listen, I'm the first to admit I'm not around my home club much unless I'm doing lessons, but I do try to stop out every once in a while during the league night, and I'll see some people I hadn't seen in 10, 15 years, that stuff.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Craigoff. Me and Ricky both shoot them. We both love them.
Yeah, best gun in the industry. I shoot them, I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Craigoff, your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, Winnig, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my Winnig stock. Get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that Winnig stock.
Of course, yeah, the Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call, get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot Winnigs.
With that being said,
Let's get back to the show. I think these clubs, that would be a good thing. And maybe the ATA gets involved, maybe not. But get more shooting locally going. Because then you could do something like what you guys do.
Yeah, because it's two faceted. So this is the great thing about the Continental League is it's individual,
Yeah.
but it's also team-based, club-based. So you're each club.
I see. So you get
So
your five
you-
guys or whatever, you can build them up
10,
and go.
20, you just
It
take the
could
top
be-
scores.
We got a couple clubs that field 20 shooters.
Wow,
And
okay.
each day we take the top 5, and that's the team score for the day. So each club's top 5 goes in, and
So do you guys
then
have a
at the end
little
of the
purse
year,
at the end, or what does the team winner get?
We have the high overall trophy. That's actually it's the only original trophy left in the league from 1963.
No
So it's
kidding.
been handed out every year since 63.
Traveling
That's
trophy.
sweet.
Traveling
And then
trophy.
your name gets on a plaque around
and
it
your
or
club
something?
name goes on it, and it's all
I like
down the
that.
back, all down the front.
front.
And
Old
then-
time. And that I like. Listen,
And it's an old
the
time trophy.
nostalgic stuff. I'm into the history of shooting. I've got a lot of stuff from years and years ago, and I have a tendency to be a hoarder on some of the old trap memorabilia.
Yeah,
But
why not?
It's cool because it's our history,
Yeah.
and that's the stuff.
So,
That's it. We could go spend 2.5 months up there and shoot that.
I mean,
that'd
hey,
be kind of fun.
if we didn't have jobs,
I can work remotely.
yeah, you can.
no, and what's
Ricky's available.
the
I'll come
the
for half.
heritage?
We'll shoot for hire.
Yeah. The cool thing about that league is like the high overall trophy. Arnold Rigger's on there. Ken Jones.
No kid.
Darryl Whitehead. Some of the
Big dogs.
big dogs
Legends, the
the
past
sport.
legend, the shooting, yes,
all have high overall championships in that league.
in that league.
Yeah.
So
Were
is
they
it,
all
is it-
from that area or just? Okay.
Yeah, Ken
Is it-
Jones is
Yeah.
lives in Washington.
Yeah.
Arnold Rigger's, of course, from there.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right. Arnold
I
was
will
there.
never forget. I was like 4 years old. We're at Evergreen. My dad's like, "I'm going to take you over here. I wanted to meet this guy." Older van, selling components out of it, and it was Arnold Rigger. And to this day, I still remember my dad buying components from him and just listening to him talk.
That's really cool.
And that was neat because I learned from early on 2 people. I learned from my dad, and I learned from Chuck Drake.
Okay.
Okay.
So because Sunnydale's an hour and a half away, and I still see Matt
I would say
probably about
Matt's
3 or 4
father.
times a year. Yeah.
Folks, if you ever want to know one of the best gun pointers in the world,
Matt Drake.
Matt
Hands
Drake.
down.
Hands down. Bobby Chambers talks about Matt a lot because Bobby shot
Yeah.
international ski, and he's like, it didn't matter. He broke. I mean, so many good scores.
So
Some people are just really natural with it. I mean, they just have that, yeah, you work at it and yeah, you put time and effort in, but at the end of the day, there's something that's God-given, that talent, that ability to just go and make a shot like that. And some people have it a little bit more than others. And,
well, here's a Matt Drake story. Now many people know. So he taught me how to shoot exhibition.
Okay.
So I have an 870, and I'm shooting pairs from the hip station 4 ski. Well, Matt doesn't really shoot much anymore, but so I was actually out there and I was intentionally dutching pairs because I knew that if I could get him to think like, okay, I'm gonna just show him how it's done. I put 8 shells in the gun. He shoots a pair from the hip, 870 now, station 4 ski, puts the gun behind his back, breaks a pair, puts the gun above his head, breaks a pair, and then gun upside down, breaks a pair, station 4 ski, doubles. Now
Pretty
that,
salty.
I wish I had that on video.
On video,
Yeah,
no kidding.
because you're just sitting there going, wow.
so what did he teach you in that moment? I mean, you said he was working with you a little bit on that. I mean, from the hip, what was he saying and what were you trying to do to make those shots?
So exhibition shooting's just like here. And the big thing that Chuck Drake and Matt were big on, and Chuck was way ahead of his time, is vision. So, he was all, and then, they have Sunnydale Shooting Grounds.
Yep.
And they still coach up there. Highly recommend it. And you go out there and it's like, okay, I want you to watch this target, watch the gun come into it. And you're shooting the sporting clay targets, and you're just learning how to not even know where the gun's at. You're just looking to that target, and the gun's going there. And just 100% instinct. No aiming, no. And that's the way Matt shot.
Yeah.
You're
Matt was just gun pointer.
Yeah, he's just looking to that target, and the target's breaking.
Yeah.
And that's the same way when you're shooting from the hip. You know where the end of that gun is, and you know where the target is, and you're just looking at it, and your body's
You
just
just gotta
going
lock it in, and it's like my coach mentor Frank Hoppy. His video, the family released it out on YouTube. I don't know if everybody saw the old VHS.
I watched it.
Yeah,
Oh, did they?
It's out there. Yeah, you get on
Oh,
it. It's
nice.
And now Frank used to shoot. He'd throw up the gun from the hip, and on post 5 he'd always do it. You'd shoot a couple pairs in doubles, get over to 5, and he goes, "Or you can break it like this, pull, poof, poof," and he'd smoke a pair from the hip. People are like, "What the heck?" And now him, Ray Stafford's a heck of a hip shooter. I mean, I watched Frank break 25 straight from the hip shooting singles. And I'm like,
That's
I wouldn't
pretty impressive.
recommend doing that in clinics. People get a little depressed.
Yeah, but
you know,
it just
you know where
shows
the end
the
of the
point of
gun
it.
is.
Well,
You're
Kim
just-
Rohde, I
yeah.
mean, we were here shooting the world all around. I came in early to shoot practice with Bobby. Kim was here. I went out and shot ski. She shot 7 or 8, 10 pairs, international ski from the hip, never missed. Here I am. I can't even hit him from the shoulder.
Yeah.
Can't get the gun out of the
Yeah,
pocket
yeah,
without
exactly.
dismounting 5 times. Like, this mitt's kind of big.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. With that being said,
Let's get back to the show. Is that who your coach was?
Yeah.
Was Chuck?
Yep. And my dad.
Okay.
So my dad was a phenomenal gun pointer.
Yeah. And he was a gunsmith too, correct?
Yep, he was a gunsmith.
Yep.
And that's just, I can remember watching him shoot and just go, some of the shoots, stand back 60 yards, shooting fun and games, breaking targets. But he never, like PITA and ATA, he didn't like doing it. that wasn't his thing.
He was
fun
just
stuff.
a club shooter.
Yeah,
Fun stuff.
he shot the Winter League and he shot
The games.
games, and that was what he did.
So how old were you when you started?
I started competing when I was 10 in the Continental League.
Okay. So that Continental League, is that a 50 bird, 100 bird?
100 bird.
100 birds. So it's 100 birds over 9 weeks.
9 weeks in the winter in Western
So
Washington.
900 birds
So
total.
what's a good score every week?
So
90, 95.
you know, most of the higher tier is shooting 95 to 98.
Okay.
You know, there is one
Guys
person.
break hundreds in it?
Yeah, there's one person that breaks hundreds.
Who's that?
I don't want to say.
Probably you.
It is, but
It's probably him.
We
No.
need to go. Anybody
Hey.
need a club shooter? Call me. No.
hey, I'm still trying to get Jake.
Are you? He
Go
won't
ahead.
shoot it?
Oh, he
Ice pick?
gives me crap all the time. So for those,
Because how far away is he from you?
5 hours.
5 hours. Yeah, that'd be
So
tough,
it-
man.
and then he's got to cross a mountain pass,
Oh yeah.
and that's
Better off getting in a plane.
in some that time of year. Sometimes you are.
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So for you, the transition, you shot that Continental, and then you went into the U.S. team stuff before you shot trap, or was the trap kind of in between there, or what was
I
that?
shot PITA for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Because my dad, I had looked at international, but it wasn't quite there. I knew what it was, but all the people at the club said, "Hey, you know,
That
you got to go do it."
that's the question. A good question would be, what brought you to go shoot bunker? What attracted you to it? Did someone reach out to you?
So I was at the Hillsborough Nut Shoot, and Tom Garrigus,
Which was also a coach
silver
of mine.
medalist in '68.
He was a coach of mine too.
Yeah,
His wife, I seen her a few years ago at the
Yeah.
Grand.
yep.
Because
And
Tom
he,
passed
he,
away.
he got inducted into the ATA Hall of
It was
Fame,
that year.
and then last year we inducted him into the PITA.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I have a piece of paper, and I've told this before, but back from the training camps, they'd fill out a deal, and Tom wrote on my piece of paper, you know, it might be an okay shooter, you know, needs some work or something. And I showed
A little
it
headstrong.
to Woodhouse, yeah, the one time, and they laughed and stuff. That was later on with because at one time Woodhouse was like, "You need to come back and shoot," and I'm like, "I'm good."
yeah.
But so Tom Garrigus,
So I'm at the nut shoot, and I won the handicap, and I think I won my class in the doubles. And he's like, "Tell you what, I'll open up the bunker if you want to shoot it." And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Let's get it on.
And let's go.
let's go, baby.
And he coached me through my first round.
the
And
rest
this
is
was in
history.
September. The next year at the JOs, I made the team.
That's
First
awesome.
shoot.
Who was on the team with you then?
Let's see. Early on, Jake hadn't started yet. We had Lance Bade was still in his prime because
Yeah.
this was pre-Athens.
Yeah.
I actually talked to him this week. Great to catch up with him.
Nice. I haven't seen Lance in a long time. Lance is
So.
a good dude.
Told me he needs to get down to the Spring Grand.
Yeah, he does. Come
So.
down, hang out. I'll
Yeah.
buy him a beer or something. Or 3. From the old days.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a couple seconds and thank a couple more sponsors. First of all, Remington's been with us since day one. I've been shooting these shells since 2007. I shoot the Nitro 27 from the 27-yard line, ounce and eighth, 7.5, and STS ounce and eighth, eighths for singles and doubles. They've worked great for me as they do a lot of top shooters all around the country. Give them a try. Don't forget the gun club line when you're practicing and you're wanting to save a little bit of money.
We'd also like to thank another sponsor, Outlaw Engineering. Randy Freston, R2. I've known Randy since 1988. They do engineering, surveying, drafting, GIS, civil, structural, land development, wetland permitting. They do
And
it
they're
all.
friends of trap
You know?
shooters. I mean, they're a trap shooting family. They've been in the ATA forever. His dad's been involved. They're involved. They're a beautiful family. They're great people. And we just love that they listen to
Yep.
the show, and we love that they support Trap Talk.
Yeah, his dad was past president in 1989. So I really want to thank those guys for the support. I really appreciate it here at Trap
With
Talk.
that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
So that journey starting when you got an international trap, you made the GO team. What was that like for you? What was the travel regimen? What were you working on? What were you doing?
You know, so love my dad to death, but a 3-hour car ride was like, that's the other side of the world. So I never shot ATA because I was on the other side of the mountains in Washington. You know, my parents phenomenal. I had a great youth. I made nothing.
Yeah.
I can't complain. But we didn't have a lot of money. So, like, the more I won, the more I got to shoot PITA.
There you go.
And, you know, it was, oh, great, I got the Calcutta. Now I can go to 2 more shoots.
Correct.
Or go to 3 shoots.
I remember them days.
He's salty.
That's how it was.
That's how you got to be. A lot of, you know, we talked about this.
We all weren't. We
Oh,
all
yeah.
weren't Zach's family. You know, Zach's dad. I mean, throwing 37 painting
throwing
coming
paint,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was, you know, and I credit those days with, you know, that's where you learn to win.
When you got your head strong.
Yeah.
You got your mental
when
game.
you go in there and you know, okay, I have to break this last box in the handicap.
We need this money.
Yeah, and it's you go do it, and you know you put you know I wanted to shoot, so you had to win. So you go out and you do it, and it's like, okay, now I can do this.
Yep.
Now you get it going, and then you go into international, and you want to talk about a humbling game.
Oh yeah.
You can go out there 24, 25, 24, 18.
And go, what the heck?
Yeah.
And that's just
And that's-
something changes on that last box. You just get a little slow with your hands or whatever, and
Yeah.
boom, it's over.
Have you ever shot bunker much, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, when you say much, I mean, I've probably shot 3,000 rounds. I mean,
We used to shoot that in a week.
Yeah, I haven't
When I was
shot
at the
a lot.
camps, it was like free shells,
Free shells,
target
yeah.
shoot. Me and Jason Booker, we were shooting, and they were like, "Aren't you guys ready to go?" Nope, we can still shoot. Yep, and we'd be out
Yeah.
there shooting. So, So, how many years did you live at the training center?
I was there 3.5.
Resident athlete.
3.5. So
3.5.
I moved out. I went to junior college for a couple years, got my associates,
Yep.
and then moved out. And I was there 3.5 years. And Jake Turner was my roommate, but we were
Oh
best
Lord.
friends. Still,
Ice
he's my
Pick.
brother.
That's his
so.
nickname. Ice Pick. But yeah, Jake's a great guy.
Yeah.
Jake and I have roomed together a few times. He's a past Craigoff team
Yeah.
member also.
When we were there together, we were pushing each other every day.
Every day. Yeah.
And
Because I remember I came to Nationals the one year and worked for Craigoff at
Yeah.
Nationals, and everybody's like, "When's the last time you were here?" And I'm like, about 93 maybe. But seeing you guys and getting to watch everybody compete and stuff,
Yeah.
it is cool. Listen, and that's the thing. You know, the Olympics aren't for everybody, Olympic shooting. But if you want to go that path, there's a route to go. And it's a great avenue. It's, you know, you can go if you can be an athlete.
We got another sponsor we got to thank. Shotguns West, the Pilas, baby. Check out these wings. Ricky don't got these. He ain't that stylish.
Folks, listen, Zach tries to wear these driving down the road, doing podcasts. It's okay. We still love
Hey,
it.
when you look good, you don't have to apologize. Remember that. Not only can you hit more targets, but you can look good doing it. Give Ryan a call.
That's right.
With that being said,
Let's get back to the show. Now, where are they doing the training center now? Is it,
you know, they've got
Hillsdale.
Hillsdale.
are they still got Colorado Springs open or no?
It's still there. It's still open, but I don't think there's any resident athletes.
Yeah.
Truthfully, when I retired, quote unquote
Quote,
retired
yeah.
in 2013. I had to step away because I knew that if I kept my toes in it,
You couldn't stop.
I would just jump back into it.
Yeah.
I knew that I needed to pull back, and I was tired. You know, you go that hard for that long,
Yep.
you get burnout. It takes a while to get back.
It does.
And I went to a couple ATA shoots, and it was like, you know,
This
this
fun.
feels like home.
Yeah.
You know, started my career and
Because you're an engineer.
engineer and construction manager. So
That's
and you
awesome.
own your own business or a partner in
Partner.
business, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you guys do? Is it
So it's called Strat Johnson Mechanical, and we
Okay.
do commercial plumbing and pipe fitting in the Seattle area. So our specialty is actually building hospitals
Oh, there you go.
and Seattle high rises. So the 45-story towers you see going up in Seattle, quite a number of them have our name on it.
So are you doing all the mechanical rooms and that sort of stuff too?
Yeah. So we're doing,
Interesting.
you know, design build work. Me or one of my counterparts will go in, we'll do the design, and then we'll draw it in 3D, build it in our fab shop, and then it's like Lincoln Logs. Goes out to the site, guys in the site just
Start building.
start
throwing it
building. Yep.
So my dad was an iron worker for about 20 years. So he built a lot of high rises and stuff like that. And then a good friend of mine, past student, and been on the show, Dustin Klein.
Dusty, yeah.
big boy. See, he's works or part owner, whatever, with Midland Mechanical. So they do schools, hospitals, that same, do the mechanical rooms and such. So I understand that whole aspect of it. You know,
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
that's kind of last several years that I've focused on that. Because,
Well, it's good to have a career. You know, this game is great, but you know, there's some people that have been fortunate enough to make this their lifestyle and do that, but that's very few people.
Yeah.
And so to be able to build a lifestyle around shooting still, be able to have a business out here, make a living, do what you want to do, and be able to do it on your own terms, I think, you know, that's the ultimate goal for most people. I mean, unless they're gonna, you know, Ricky Marshall it or, you know, be a Leo or, you know, where you're always doing it and you're trying to make a living doing it, I think that's farther and fewer between nowadays. And you have
the difference is, I mean, there's not really the money in shooting like there was at all by any means, but the lessons and stuff, what I do, and I love to teach.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I love to give knowledge to up and coming shooters, even more experienced shooters. I mean, I've
Well, that's coming from being around Frank for so long.
Absolutely, and it is. It's like you want. I could be walking down the line and watch someone do something. I'm like, you know, and they'll see me, and later on they're like, you see me, and I was like, hey man, you know, you need to keep your head down. He's like, oh, that's what I'm doing. You know, and it's just I love to do that, and I love to teach, and it's great, and I've been.
You gotta like to see people do a little bit better, and you know, give that back. I mean, it's giving back to the sport at some level, but
you got to give back, otherwise we're not going to have a sport.
We got to keep it going.
This podcast, I mean, this is.
This is great.
Yeah, we're able to bring shooters like you that, you know, you're a West Coast shooter.
Different
Man, I see you at the Grand, I mean, you know, it's like Jake. I mean, Jake used to come down here all the time.
Yeah.
Now he's scared, don't want to come shoot us anymore.
Ricky's got away with words.
I do.
Hey, I want to get, you know, I miss having my brother right beside me.
Yep.
Us pushing each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I miss that. And then, like up there, we got Travis.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have Travis and Jake on the show, you know, because they're brother-in-laws.
Yeah, brother-in-law.
We tried to have him on at the Grand, but we went the night we were doing K. It just ran so late with Kay, and we weren't going to stop him. So we're just like, hey, we're going to have to do this another
that
time.
That episode will be out tomorrow, which would be great. Our 100th episode.
Is that one coming out tomorrow?
Tomorrow, physically based on today, but by the time they hear this, it'll be a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But the power of television, right? But
Hey, Trop Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clays Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40 plus state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad if they paid. You know, you can see your options, your payouts. The whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky knew how much money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, hey, I'm buying lunch. I'm like, yeah, good job. We're good to go. We also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself, and I've been a supporter of them, and, you know, especially with my college team. You know, we require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance in literally 10 minutes. You can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, you know, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great
It's always good when you're traveling around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Craig-offs. You got to keep them insured. So
exactly.
With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
But I guess getting technical, because I know a lot of people want to know how to shoot. What are things that you learned in bunker trap that carries to this game? Like, what are the things, and we talked a little bit about today about you changing your game and maneuvering and take it to the next level in trap. What are some things that you're implementing that you learned from that carry to this?
How to stay in the gun, because I'm a one-eyed shooter.
Okay.
So everything's got to be down low.
So you just close the left eye, or
No,
what?
I've got tape.
Okay, so you tape it.
So I'm down on the house and bunker, and that target, it's going to beat you.
Oh, yeah.
But you control it. You know, it's like, okay, there it is. And then you go into it. And then this follow-up, if you need the second shot, which I lived on, you know, that's one of the rubs between Jake and I. He was a first barrel God, and I lived on my second barrel.
You're good with it.
Oh yeah, I was I got it. Good.
Take that.
Yeah.
That's why you're a great double shooter, though, probably because you stay in that gun and you could make 2 shots instead of some people don't know how to make a second shot after they've been recoiled.
Yeah.
They just come on out and they're like up here and they're just throwing that second shot. There's not a lot of people that can control that gun on both shots.
Staying in the gun and shooting, folks, is the most important part of shooting. If you're not staying in the gun,
Gotta have that
the
cheek
gun
pressure.
stops and the hands take over.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
So staying in the gun's one. What else?
Just that, I'll say drive to win.
Okay.
You're there and you know that, okay, it's game time.
Yep.
It's time to put a number up. But here's one of the things that I see a lot of people back home. They're looking for a score. They're looking for something. They're competing against that person.
Yeah.
No, it's if I can beat myself,
Can
it's
I
going to
get-
be tough
can
for
I
other
get
people.
better? Yeah.
It's going to be tough for people when I'm on my A game to beat me. And you've got to have that confidence.
Yeah.
You've got to go in there knowing that I am the best shooter on the grounds. Because if somebody needles their way in there, you're done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I love how you made it, self-focused, where you're not looking at it and saying, okay, I got to put 100 up today, right? Because if you look at things, digestible, the 100, the 200, the week of the overall, and you start thinking, okay, in 1,000 birds, I got to hit this many, they start going away really quick.
Yeah.
Like you got to go out there and you got to shoot one target at a time and play at your best level, your game.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, at the end of the week, there's not going to be many people next to
No.
you generally if you're doing your job. But I think so many people wrap their heads around, I want to shoot this score, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then, as soon as you miss 1, 2, 3, 4 birds, now you miss 10 birds because
Yeah.
you're pissed and you're like, I'm out of the game, I'm out of the event, I'm out of the overall. Who cares anymore, right? And that's hard to keep that drive and that I guess focus, especially when you're out of it. And I think I love when shooters have a bad box and then they just clean it up.
Yeah.
Like that shows me that I've seen Ricky shoot I've seen you shoot 21s and 22s on the first box handicap and run the back 75, and that for me is as impressive or more impressive than shooting a big score, because not only were you able to clean out the back 75, but you did it after you got kicked in the teeth.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
which a lot of
hard
people
shooting.
a lot of people take a 21 and they're like, okay, here I come to an 86 or an 85 or an 84. I mean, they're just like, I'm heading down to the bad road. And a lot of people like Dave Kelly always told me, you got to stop the bleeding. He always used to go like this, like just stop the
bleeding.
stop the
Yeah.
bleeding. But so one-eyed shooter. I'm assuming that you're like me and Ricky, where you're on the house on everything you shoot. Is that true or no?
I'm singles I'm a little above because I've shot too much bunker.
Yeah.
If I'm down low, it's and it's like no.
He's whipping the gun.
Yeah, so I got to get it up
A little bit.
higher and just allow the target to come out.
Okay.
And handicap, I'm down on the house,
Okay.
chasing it.
Doubles.
Doubles, I'm actually parallel.
Okay. So
I-
first
I
shot
am
you're
shoot-
parallel.
I shoot doubles the exact opposite of one-eyed shooter should.
Really?
And-
So how do you
Fast
do
line.
that with one eye on that first shot? I mean, do you see it coming to the barrel, or do you wait for it to get
I'm
a top?
I'm
or-
off to the side a little bit.
So you could see it off
I'm
the
seeing
angle.
it come up the side of the gun. And when I see it flash, I'm little move up and I'm letting it go and then go into the second one.
So setup wise, I know you shoot a Krieghoff. Are you? I remember you saying top single. Is that correct?
No.
I shot a top single
yeah.
for a little while.
Okay.
But I'm back to
ACS.
standards. No,
or,
I'm
or you're
not.
shooting the
Standard.
the traditional,
Yeah.
not the standards. No,
Traditional.
Peter Krieghoff.
So
I used to call
so-
it the old style. He said it's the traditional.
Step
So
rib.
so traditional
Step
step
rib.
rib unsingle
Yep.
combo.
Yes.
34 32,
Two.
34 30.
32.
Okay.
And I like the 32s being one-eyed because I like the less of the perceived lead.
I see.
But shout out to Krieghoff, my 32s are light.
Okay.
So I like the light, longer barrels because
So why are they like? Did you have them backboard or
Yeah,
things
they're
like
backboard.
that? Okay.
And then Don and Elmore, they did some stuff to them, and I truthfully don't know.
They made them
I don't
lighter.
want to know, but they lighten them up.
Light-
They said we'll make them
Yeah.
lighter for you, so they move quick
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. So when I look, the gun moves
Point of impact wise, what are you generally using? I
about
mean,
80-20.
Okay, so is all the barrels about 80-20?
Yeah.
And choke wise, are you a believer in tight chokes, or do you have you adjust them at all, or what's that?
I got fixed full on the unsingle, and then I've got 15 and 30 in the OUs. So,
He's a light mod and a mod. Or light mod, I mod.
yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, I'm shooting 20-30. Were you shooting 20?
20-30.
20-30. So you're a little more open, but you might be a little quick on that first shot still. I mean, you do shoot them pretty quick from what I've seen. I mean, you're pop. I mean, but
And I used to go 15-25, but then I was noticing some of my squad mates, I wanted that little better break on that second target.
smoke it.
Because we're seeing,
Excuse me.
there's always that one trap that's not putting the spin on the target.
Yeah.
On that second target in the doubles. And I want to hit it with a freight train. I shoot light 7.5 that are singles and hand doubles, both shots.
So ounce and eighth, light 7.5.
Yep.
That's your go-to load, and then a handicap. Are you running 1250 or what do you run?
1200.
Okay, so you run 3 dram. You don't like all that horsepower.
I got to the point where I noticed it was, here we're at the Autumn Grand. The 5th, 6th day, I noticed that when I shot the 1200, I was better going in.
A little more fresh.
A little more fresh.
Yeah.
And not as tired.
Well,
And-
I think I like the big boomers. I mean, I like that handicap shell.
I like 1250s.
But at the end of the day, if you're shooting 1150, 1200, or 1250, it doesn't matter if you don't put the gun in the right
as long as
spot.
you're on the target,
Yeah.
If you put it in the right spot,
I just
mean,
like the 1250 because it's there instant
Yeah.
versus the 1145s, 1165s.
Earlier this year I was shooting 1145s at handicap.
you still 7.5 though.
Still 7.5.
You like that bigger pellet.
I like the bigger pellet, especially Western Washington. A lot of damp, humid conditions.
Thick air.
Thick air. I shot some lights at handicap this year, just being completely honest, I hurt my shoulder in February.
Okay.
So the recoil was getting to me.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to shoot.
Yeah, so lighten it up and shoot.
Lighten it up and
And
shoot.
did you see that affect your scores in a negative way, or do you feel like it wasn't a big deal after you got used to it?
Once I got used to it, it's all in, you see the target and you put the gun there. Yeah, on 1 and 5 you noticed a little bit, but
On that
Once
long
you-
angle?
on that long angle you noticed it, but it wasn't bad. It was okay. I need to get out in front of it a little bit more, but I was able to shoot. Sparta was a grueling.
Yeah.
The 2600?
I don't shoot the 2600.
Just that 1 week?
Yeah, I fly in the Friday and then catch Saturday, Sunday the prelim, mainly because of vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot
Well,
Saturday,
you're running a
Saturday.
business. It's tough to get away for.
It's a lot
and
of
that
targets.
phone's always ringing.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's good. We want that. That keeps the shells in the garage, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. In the barrel.
Keep them in the barrel.
Yeah.
Keep them in the garage. Entries are paid. Checks aren't bouncing. That's not a bad
And as
thing.
long as Northwestern Mutual keeps giving me dividends,
Hey, the
then I
dividend-
watch that account
The
go.
dividends are strong. We can
But
say
he's not my financial advisor.
not yet.
Exactly. You can throw that in there.
Always
He's always
available.
trying to work an angle.
Always available, but
Also, we've got Mid-State Precious Metals, Ron Prescott. He's a great guy for all your gold and silver needs. Ricky, tell him about our friend.
Yeah, Ron, he graciously donated a 10-ounce silver bar to our live in-person podcast in Tucson. And, he has everything. I bought a bunch of silver from him. We got our silver and gold for the fun day at the Nevada State Shoot on Monday this year. John got all the silver and gold for the Nevada State Shoot. So look him up for your silver and gold needs. He'll give you the best price out there.
He really is, and he's a friend of the trap shooters. I mean, he's looking to get gold and silver to these gun clubs for their shoots at the lowest price across the country. He's doing them a service and helping grow the sport. So, thank you so much for that, Ron.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. We appreciate
With
it.
that being said,
Let's get to the show.
it's interesting to hear how you shoot one-eyed in doubles, because we've had a couple one-eyed shooters on the show, and most of them are all kind of down and
Yeah.
low. And to have you in a position where you're higher and being able to take those shots and just give yourself the vision, and then also your shell selection is a little bit different from what most of the Midwestern shooters are shooting. I mean, most of them are shooting ounce and eighths, they're shooting
Light
1250s. I like that 7.5 play. I mean, especially with the dense air. I've heard a lot of people say that depending, that 7.5 just gives you a little bit better of a break. I mean, pellet count. I know Ricky loves 8s. I mean,
I like
kind of,
8s. Pellet count, you get 63, 64 more PBs. You got more chances with 8s than 7s.
You do.
I remember, and you would know this because you spent a lot more time with Leo than me, but I remember him saying, or someone saying, that he loved the 7.5.
Whatever he got in his garage.
He's whatever he had. But
Leo could shoot whatever. Didn't matter.
he could shoot cleavers.
He could shoot challengers.
The challengers, cleavers, all anything.
It didn't matter. He shot whatever.
It didn't matter.
He shot a 40 to 45,000 choke in a single barrel.
Yeah, if you tighten it up that much, you throw anything at it, it's going to break it.
It's throwing a 9mm.
Yeah. No, but I also, I'll be honest, I can't shoot 2 different shells. I want to grab 2 shells, throw them in the gun, and catch the extra pair. I don't want to think, okay, this one's got to go in this barrel. I just want. And that kind of goes back to the international days too.
Well, yeah, because you were shooting 1 shell.
Yeah, you throw 2 shells in there and you go.
That's
I
how
just
I
want
am.
to throw 2 in.
I've done
catch
the whole
extra pair.
light heavy thing before, but the biggest thing for me is I was always like, okay, this box and going from here to here, and then looking at making sure. And I'm like, you know what? 2 light shells, it just seemed easy. I mean, there's enough shooters in the country breaking hunters and doubles with 2 light shells. I'm like,
Zach always sets a box on the ground. He sets it back now on about the 1920 because he used to set it on like the 17. And we don't.
he'd punt it.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
He'd punt it, so I move it back.
I never punted it. I might have tipped it. There's a difference.
Tip and punting, they're really close. But
See, I just don't want to bend over, so I got
exactly.
It's like that's a long way down.
It's expensive.
Split some shorts every now and then, you know.
Those shell pouches are expensive. I'm just gonna keep doing it my way. I don't want to have to invest that money in an extra shell pouch. We got
tight,
one.
folks.
We're fine.
Our financial guy is tight.
We
We
gotta
call him
tell me
Squeaky.
you haven't won enough of them.
I might have a few of them. I might have.
We call him Squeaky.
So Benias used to tell me, and I listened to him. I mean, he's Benias. I said, Benias, why do you shoot 1 pouch? And he says, well, I just don't want to ever change the weight. And so I listened to that, and I just always thought 1 box is what you're used to instead of 2 boxes. He never put 2 boxes on. Sean Hawley was the same way. He says, I never put 2 boxes on. I want 1 box because of the weight. And so I just, in my head, at a young age, figured out, okay, when I put 2 boxes there, I felt a little heavier than before. And, maybe that's in my brain, right? Maybe that's in my brain completely, but I just... But maybe it's in my brain, but for me, I always felt 1 box was just what I was used to always dealing with. And so just, ran it and feel comfortable running it that way. But it makes it even more difficult to shoot light heavy when you're only using 1 box. Because the couple times that I did it, I'd have to take my boxes and I'd mix them, gold, green, gold, green, gold, green in the 1 box. And
How
I'm
many
like,
times that gold would make it in the bottom?
yeah. No, I'd lay them out and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to try this. We'll lay them out because I'm not shooting 2 boxes. I'm shooting 1 box. And I'd mix them all up and I'd do it. And I'm like, yeah, screw this. I'm going back to the light. But
That's funny.
That's making it way too complicated.
Yeah, that's engineer thoughts right there. We don't need to go there. But
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a shout out to the Cardinal Center in Marengo, Ohio. They hold the Cardinal Classic and they also hold the Ohio State Shoot, which is home of the first back fence shootout. Ricky, what do you think about Ohio?
Listen, I love the Cardinal Center. I actually broke the first 100 from the 27 there at their very first shoot ever. Great place, Jake Spangler and their whole clan there. They do an awesome job at running the shoots. The Ohio State shoots ran by the Ohio State Association. The Cardinal Classic's right after the Grand, so if you're looking for some more points right after the Grand, hit that up so you can get a little more points than old Zach here. But listen, it's a great shoot. Great facility.
It really is. I personally love the RVs. They've got great camping there. They've got a great time, good shoot, good target presentation. Go check it out. It's worth putting on your list. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
So for you, when you were really excelling in the game and you were getting into trap again and you were winning a lot of stuff, what were you doing from a training standpoint? Were you practicing a lot? Were there drills that you were doing? Or what made you great?
There's a saying, I think everybody in this room's done it. Practice with a purpose.
That's right.
Some days, it all depends on where I'm at on the target year. If I get a good day in March, which is rare in Washington, I'll go out there and pound rounds to get repetition in. Build the muscles
On a nice
up.
day, because you don't have a lot of them.
You don't have a lot of them, but you get into the dog days of the trap season. If I'm having trouble post 1, I might go shoot a whole box on post 1. I'm going to iron that out. Figure out what's going on, get the fundamentals. I try and keep everything as simple as possible. Engineer mind, that's sometimes hard.
So keep it simple.
Yeah.
Purpose. Repetition when you have the weather, because in your area of the country, you're not always getting the weather. So early in the season, you're practicing a lot when you get a chance. And then once we're in the middle of it, just being purposeful and maintaining what you're doing, and then having to shoot schedules, going here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, anything too crazy. Mainly, if I'm having an issue, work on that issue. But not just shooting to shoot. I mean, it was maintenance and problem work.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've done this past year that's different is, it all depends on how the day at the office went. If it was a long grilling day,
You're not one to shoot.
I know that if I go out there, I've got to have my mind right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will, because it actually emulates the Sunday of a long
Week.
satellite grand. You go out there and you work through it, but it's also a real good time to pick up bad habits.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not in the right mental game, I'm not going to shoot, because I know that I'm going to pick something up.
All right, folks, we got to take another quick break and thank one of our show sponsors, 73 Pointers Ranch, Jonesburg, Missouri. Rick and Carla Burke, best place in the area to go shoot chuckers and pheasants and have a great time. Rick, we got to get you down there.
Yeah, I need to come in. Hopefully I can do some hunting with you guys and come to your the annual clay shoot in August right after the Grand.
It's a lot of fun. It's the Optimist Club charity shoot. They throw a charity shoot. They put it on, and it's wonderful. I think last year they had over 100 entries into it, and it's just a good time. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
So for you said you had a lot of great coaches in your past. Obviously, you've been well-rounded in all the different games. What are maybe a couple things that you picked up from your coaches that they told you that were like, this is gold and this is something everybody needs to know to shoot better?
When we were at the Olympic Training Center, Lance Spade, Jake, and I, we pushed each other. And those were some great days, because it was keep it simple, get the fundamentals down.
Yeah.
Those fundamentals are they're not gonna break you that 100, but they're gonna guarantee you that 94 or 5, and then you gotta get the last
The rest
bit.
of the way there.
When you have those strong fundamentals, those will carry you.
Carry you through. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's so true, because the guys that have the strongest fundamentals, they're consistently always shooting at a level. They're always there. I mean, you can't see Ricky ever shoot below a certain level pretty much every day, because his fundamentals are so strong. I mean, it's just ironclad. And a lot of guys, if you don't have it, you can go shoot 100 one day, but then the next day you can shoot 89. And it's like
80, 85.
Yeah, what happened? Like the light was good, I was on my day, and I broke 100, but that day I don't know why I did it, because you're not consistently strong. And I think, the big fundamentals we talk about on the show all the time are holding your gun still, seeing the target well, staying in the gun.
Your pre-shot routine.
The pre-shot routine. Your feet, your hold points
The
being
goals
consistent.
you should
The
have,
goals.
that,
I mean, those are all big fundamentals that a lot of people they just walk right by them. They're just like, oh, I just want to
count them and I'll be fine.
Yeah, we go into Sparta, and I'm watching you guys, state shoots and the zones and the satellite grands. This will be the one satellite grand I shoot a year.
Yeah.
Is the autumn, and then I'll pick up some couple state shoots in the western zone,
and then the grand.
and then the grand. And you guys are getting those long, week-long shoots in
Oh,
there, and I'm going in there going, okay, got to step it up here.
Yeah.
Everybody else has been shooting for 2 months straight, shooting Midwest targets, and that's the one thing that I'm still getting better at going into Sparta, is the targets fly different out west.
Yeah.
They do. And then you get to
A lot more
Sparta.
face on a west target, you see, and
I mean, I don't know, like this week here in Tucson, like we're out west technically, but I feel like the targets we've been shooting in the Midwest have been easier than the targets we're shooting here this week. Personally, I mean, I don't know
I
the
think
scores.
it has to do with the springs on the traps.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that could be it too. But I mean, we
Versus
have
the bands.
those same springs in Missouri at the MTA, and I haven't seen it affect the scores in any way. And I shoot some really great scores there. So
Yeah.
I think it's I don't know what it is, but it has to do with location, it has to do with visibility, it has to do with speed of the target, it has to do with a lot of things. But you don't just say, because I always used to hear this. Everybody in the middle say, "Oh, at West Coast is so easy. This easy." There's a lot of West Coast clubs that will murder you and will tell.
Well, you got Martinez. You got places like Evergreen. There's some.
Martinez is for that. He broke 100 straight. Didn't play the money.
I played almost all of it.
No. Almost doesn't count on hand grenades and horseshoes. That's it.
But you go to Santa Maria, California. That's a different. You went down to Tascadero. You go down. I mean,
there's
Martinez.
clubs that test you. Where I notice it the most is being one-eyed, being down low. It's how the target controlling getting beat and then chasing the target down. It's that timing.
Because you are going to get beat one-eyed. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm getting beat as much with 2-eyed because I'm looking at an area where that target's clear then. But everything I've heard from one-eyed shooters, they're like, you get beat because you just don't have the vision.
You got to control it.
You got to control. You got to be able to see that target and make that move. But it needs to be a smooth move, not that jerk or.
You've got to see it and then go.
Yep, exactly.
And it's different. It's different in Sparta than it is on the West.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But there's nothing. I love Sparta.
I think it's a great facility.
The one thing in my career, I never got to shoot Vandalia.
Oh.
I wish if I could go back in time.
I only got one, but I was glad that I did.
I got 88. I missed in 93, and then the 05. Every year.
There you go.
Yeah.
The one. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I love Bandit. And I love Sparta. It's great.
Yeah. That's the first shoot I circled. I missed when I started working. I missed 1 year, and there I am sitting at my computer working away.
And you're like, what?
And I had the scoreboard, the live ticker up going.
It's
this
so
is
hard
going
to
to be
miss
the
it.
only year. And then every year going into Sparta, I'm watching the scores Wednesday, Thursday. Yep. It's up on the corner of my monitor.
This year was
watching everybody
my
shoot.
35th Grand American.
Yeah.
So, or was last year, I should say.
It's my 19th.
Yeah, long time. All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country, and obviously they love trap shooters, they love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up. We'll take care of you guys. With that being said,
let's get to the show.
It's one of those things that you don't want to miss it. If you could put it on your calendar and go, I think it's a great trip. Obviously, you have the highest level of competition as anywhere because everyone's there, and just a great facility all in all. You get to see all the greats in one place. I mean, if they're one of the greats with trap shooting, they're probably going to be at the Grand unless there's some kind of sickness, health, or family issue.
That you can come in the Hall of Fame building and see all the past Hall of Fame members, the legends of our game.
Yeah, no, and that's the first shoot I circle. And if I'm only going to shoot one shoot,
That's
it's
it.
going to be
That's
Sparta.
Yeah, I kind of like I agree. I mean, it was when I started coming back, work was getting better. It was the state shoot and it was the Grand. And I just said, if I'm going to do 2 shoots, state shoot, Grand.
Yep.
And that was kind of the thing because I figured if I can't compete at my state level, well then why would I compete at the at the larger level, right? So that was like, let's see what happens at the state. Let's go to the Grand, and then if you win your titles at the state, maybe you get in the championship champions or something like that. Give you a little bit more fire or grit. But that was always like if I had to strip everything away, it would be state shoot Grand for me, and then after that we start picking where we want.
It'll be February or so, and you get the thought like, okay, shooting off under the lights in Sparta.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like being under those lights because the best of the best are there and you're competing. Shooting off for the clay target, shooting off for the doubles championship. You're there.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. It is.
There's nothing better.
No.
For what we do, there's nothing better. Being under those lights, the only thing better is getting one of those that I see on Ricky's hand right there.
Hey, I'm jealous too. Trust me. That's the ultimate goal right there. I mean, it's
I got up to third in the Devils one year.
The pinnacle of trap shooting is those rings.
I've been the Roo about 30 times, and I've been fortunate to win 4 of them, and need to get an updated one.
John's working on the shirts for like the 5-time Roo clay target or whatever. What was it, like 6 times? Like
4 or 5.
45 times second place.
Yeah. It happens.
It happens. Hey.
Hey, you were there.
That's right. You make it to the dance. Sometimes you finish, sometimes you don't.
You know.
Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
Yeah. You know, you watch everybody at the shoot-offs, and they're like, "Well, God, he shot a 3 on that post." Yeah, but he's out there, and you're back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he
You
got
stand there with a drink, and I'm out there with a gun in my hand.
It's like Kay says, you got to get your ticket to the show.
That's right.
You get your ticket to the show, and then whatever happens, happens. And I've seen guys, that were the best in the best win it and or lose it. And then I've seen guys that it was their first day breaking 100, or maybe they had and they won it. And I'm like, holy crap! Like it's just a big, the underdog wins again, right?
Yeah.
But if it was their day and they were on and they controlled it, it happens, and that's. That's wonderful. Well, John, it's been great having you on the show. I guess, is there anything that you want to share on the way out? Anyone you'd like to thank? Anything at all?
Got to thank Krieghoff.
Yeah.
They have taken
We
care
got our
of me.
Krieghoff shirts
Yeah.
on. Zach.
I got my Remington shirt on.
No,
Hey, we got to thank Remington, too. They're to support the show.
They've been great. Can't ask. They held me in international. That's when I switched.
Yeah.
I went from an MX-8 to a K80. And then when I transitioned back, they said, you're part of the family. And yeah, it's a family, and that means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
So, and, got to thank my family. Putting up with me.
Yeah.
Got to thank Jake Turner,
Yeah.
my brother.
Best buddy.
Yeah. And then I also got to thank Mike Tullis.
Oh, Mikey.
The mouse.
The thing about Mike, there's nobody that loves the game more than he does.
No, that's a fact.
And if you want to talk something technical, there's somebody that is truly special when it comes to the technical aspects of the game. So, and last, I want to thank you guys, for doing this podcast. I listened to it, and I know the K episode's coming out.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Getting the Hall of Famers on, I think,
That's
going to cement, there's so many of them that didn't do a video or something.
Oh,
There's a lot of sub-juniors, juniors, junior golds that,
I have no idea.
there's Hall of Famers out here on the line that they don't even know who they are.
They have no idea.
You know how many rings they have back home.
Yeah.
Getting those guys on the show to help cement their legacy for the next generation. Because,
Fact.
the electronic aspect now,
Oh, it's huge.
people can go watch it, rewatch it.
They watch it
As
drive down the
many
road,
times.
Yeah.
listen to it. Yeah.
And that's the
Exactly.
goal. And I would ask the listeners, if you're hearing that statement today and you know somebody that's an all-time great, and you could nudge them to be on the show, or you could send them our way, get them in touch with me, Ricky, John. I mean, there's so many people that are out there that might not have picked up the gun in the last 10, 15, 20 years that
We
were,
just want to
that
hear
were
their
all-time greats.
stories.
Like Britt Robertson, he doesn't shoot anymore, but
Yeah.
that was connected through a fan of the show. We wouldn't have been able to get him if it
Well,
was
that
like, hey,
Gary shared was part of it too, which Gary was on the show.
correct, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just like, okay, where is he at? How can we make this work? And then people were scrambling because he didn't have internet, he didn't have he didn't have a laptop. It's like, okay, how can we all, there was 5 people involved with, let's get him and go over here and set this up and do this episode. And that
It
might
worked
be
out
what
great.
it takes for people that are on
Yeah.
the older side of it, because they're not necessarily technologically advanced as much. But if you guys can help with that, and you're listening to the show and you love it, please let us know, who they are, where they're at,
Send
how
a
we get in touch
message,
with them, and
email.
we'll get them on the show, because that's our
Get a hold of us, and we'll try to get them on that show.
100%. So it's been a pleasure, John.
Yeah,
You're a
thank
great
you.
guy. We're going to see a lot of great things out of you.
That's right.
And just keep shooting great, and we'll go from there. And for everyone listening, happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Keep
Good luck
sharing,
shooting.
liking,
Yeah.
subscribing, commenting, doing all the great stuff. Wearing your Trap Talk hats
That's
and your
right.
gear, and just spreading the positivity and making
Go
trap
on,
great
guys.
again. So
Good luck,
catch you
everyone.
again.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
With that being said, Trap Talk listeners, if you love everything about Trap Talk, please subscribe to our page. Also, throw some likes on the videos that you enjoy. It really means the world to us.
Yeah, comment on each episode. We read them. We respond to them. With that, let's get to the show.